Today we are going to talk about a concept that appears in many spiritual traditions and psychological models, even if I use different language. Some call it soul fragmentation, others call it parts work, dissociation, or trauma splitting. Different frameworks, same observation. Sometimes parts of us get left behind. Not physically, but energetically, emotionally, psychologically. And when that happens, life can begin to feel strangely incomplete. You might function well. You might work, build, create, succeed. But somewhere inside, something feels scattered. Like you are living your life with only part of your energy available. Hi, I'm Kat Swan. Here on this channel, we explore what it really means to live in inner union, integrating what was divided, returning what was never ours, and walking the path of balance with honesty. If you want substance instead of spiritual performance, you're in the right place. Today I want to explore what soul fragmentation really means, why it happens, and how healing begins. We will look at the spiritual idea of soul fragmentation, the psychological concept of dissociation, why the mind separates during overwhelming experiences, and how healing happens through integration, sometimes called soul retrieval, because healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming whole again. What is soul fragmentation? The simplest way to understand soul fragmentation is this. When an experience becomes too overwhelming for the nervous system, part of our awareness separates from the moment in order to survive it. This, however, is not weakness. It is intelligence. The human psyche is designed to protect itself. If something is too painful, too frightening, or too confusing, the system sometimes chooses separation over full presence. A part of experience gets stored away, part of awareness withdraws, and the rest of you continues moving forward. A useful way to think about this is a circuit breaker analogy. Imagine the electrical system in a house. When a surge becomes too powerful, the breaker flips, not to destroy the system, but to protect it. Soul fragmentation works in a similar way. When emotional intensity becomes too high, the psyche temporarily disconnects parts of the experience. Psychology often calls this dissociation. Spiritual traditions describe it as a fragment of the soul remaining in the past event. Both descriptions are pointing toward the same phenomenon, something inside us paused in time. So, how fragmentation happens? Fragmentation actually doesn't require extreme trauma. It can happen during moments that feel small from the outside. A moment where your voice was dismissed. A moment where you were shamed. A moment where you felt deeply unsafe or unseen. Children experience the world very intensely, so a single moment of emotional overwhelm can create an imprint. The system thinks, this is too much, and a part of awareness withdraws. That part might carry fear, grief, anger, confusion, unmet needs. Meanwhile, the rest of you keeps moving forward. You grow older, you adapt, you become capable, but that fragment remains frozen at the moment it's separated. And sometimes we feel that as a strange internal tension. Modern psychology has actually developed detailed models to describe this. One of them is called Internal Family Systems, or IFS. In IFS therapy, the psyche is understood as consisting of different parts. For example, exiles. These are parts that carry painful emotions like shame, fear, or grief. And when there are managers, these parts try to control behavior so that the painful emotions never surface again. Managers might appear as perfectionism, hyperproductivity, or emotional distance. Both parts are trying to protect you. But the result is the same spiritual traditions have described for centuries. The self becomes divided instead of unified. Soul fragmentation rarely shows up as one dramatic event. More often, it appears as a collection of almost invisible experiences. For example, gaps in memory. Some people cannot remember large portions of their childhood, not because they are forgetful, but because the nervous system protected itself during those periods. Emotional numbness. You might feel like you are watching your life from behind glass. Things happen, but they don't fully reach you emotionally. Regression during stress. Sometimes during intense stress, people suddenly react in ways that feel much younger than their current age. That younger emotional fragment briefly takes control. A sense of homesickness. One of the most common experiences people describe is a strange feeling of longing, a quiet sense of searching for home, even when you are already in your own house. What many people are actually longing for is the return of their own scattered energy. In fact, many people sense fragmentation without having language for it. It can show up as feeling disconnected from yourself, feeling like you are performing your life instead of living it. Sudden emotional reactions that feel disproportionate to the situation, or the opposite, feeling numb, emotionally distant. Like something inside you is turned down. Another common sign is actually also chronic exhaustion. Because when your energy is scattered across different unresolved experiences, the system is constantly working in the background to keep those parts separated. That takes energy, a lot of energy. It's like running multiple invisible programs on your computer at the same time. Eventually, the system slows down. Why we often don't notice it? Well, it's because most people don't realize fragmentation is happening. Because we are very good at adapting, we build identities around the fragments. For example, a fragment that carries fear might lead someone to become hyper-controlled. A fragment that carries shame might lead someone to become perfectionistic. A fragment that carries grief might lead someone to disconnect emotionally. From the outside, these behaviors can even look like strength, discipline, achievement, self-reliance, but internally, the system may still feel divided. Fragmentation can exist across different layers of time, not just childhood, but ancestral inheritance. Patterns passed down through generations, emotional burdens carried unconsciously through family lines. Whether you view this literally or metaphorically, the observation is the same. We often carry emotional patterns that did not begin with us. And when those patterns remain unprocessed, they can feel like background weight. Emotional burdens travel through generations until someone becomes aware of them, and awareness is where healing begins. Most people eventually reach a moment where they begin asking deeper questions. Why do I feel disconnected? Why do I repeat certain emotional patterns? Why does something inside me still feel unresolved? This is often the beginning of a return to wholeness, not by forcing change, but by becoming curious. Healing fragmentation is not about destroying the fragments. It is about welcoming them back. When we begin integrating fragmented parts, something important happens. We stop fighting ourselves. Instead of trying to silence certain emotions, we begin listening. Instead of suppressing memories, we begin understanding their role. Integration means recognizing that part of me that feels afraid has a story. That part of me that feels angry has a reason. That part of me that feels lost once needed protection. When those parts feel acknowledged, the nervous system begins to relax because it no longer has to keep them hidden. One method many traditions use for integration is visualization. Not because imagination is childish, but because the mind and nervous system respond strongly to imagery. When you visualize calling a part of yourself back, when you imagine warmth, safety, light, the body receives signals that it is safe to reconnect. This is why meditation and visualization practices can feel surprisingly powerful. They speak directly to the deeper layers of the nervous system. So the question naturally arises, if a glass has shattered, how do we put it back together? The answer in many traditions is integration, or what shamanic cultures call soul retrieval. In modern therapeutic language, this often appears as inner child work. The process involves returning to those earlier moments, not to relive them, but to reconnect with a part of yourself that stayed behind. You are not fixing a broken part. You are welcoming a forgotten part back into the present. And when those parts feel seen and safe, the nervous system begins to relax. Energy returns, clarity increases, and many people report feeling more like themselves again. Guided Soul Retrieval Meditation. This meditation is designed to bridge the gap between shamanic visualization and the modern parts work. It's best practiced in a quiet space where you won't be interrupted for about 15 to 20 minutes. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take 3 deep, intentional breaths. Inhale, drawing in presence and gold light. Exhale, releasing any manager parts of your brain that feel they need to control this experience. Visualize a circle of protective light around you. Mentally state your intention. I am here to reclaim a piece of my vital essence that was left behind. I am a safe harbor for my return. Repeat it if you feel necessary. I am here to reclaim a piece of my vital essence that was left behind. I am a safe harbor for my return. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a lush, ancient garden. This represents your subconscious. There is a path leading downward, not into darkness, but into a soft, twilight-colored valley. As you walk down the path, feel the air get cooler and more peaceful. You are walking back through time, but you are protected. You are the adult self, strong, compassionate, and observant. Ask your heart to show where parts of you stayed behind. Don't force a memory. Let an image arise. You might see a version of yourself as a child. You might see a version of yourself at the scene of a specific breakup or loss. You might simply see a ball of colored light trapped in a thicket. Approach this fragment slowly. Notice what they are doing. Are they hiding? Are they frozen? Are they playing? Keep a respectful distance. In soul retrieval, the fragment often stays away because it thinks the outside world is still dangerous. Speak to it internally. I am you from the future. It is safe now. The event that caused you to leave is over. I have grown strong enough to protect us both. I have come to bring you home. Wait for a response. The fragment may look afraid or relieved. Ask it, what do you need in order to feel safe coming back with me? It might need a blanket, a toy, or simply to hear that it is loved. Once the fragment is ready, hold out your hands. Imagine the fragment shrinking until it can fit in the palm of your hand, or see it turn into a brilliant spark of light. Bring your hands to your heart center or your solar plexus. Visualize this light merging with your physical body. As it enters, feel a sensation of warmth spreading through your limbs. This is your vitality returning. Use the following affirmation. I welcome you back into the safety of my heart. We are one again. I have the strength to hold you, and you have the light to guide me. Take a deep breath and feel your weight on the floor or chair. Imagine locking that light into your DNA. Spend a moment offering gratitude to that part of yourself for surviving. When you feel solid and grounded, slowly wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes. After this meditation, it is common to feel a bit raw or emotional. Drink plenty of water and consider journaling about what that fragment looked like and what it asked for. Healing from soul fragmentation does not mean becoming a completely different person or becoming perfect. It means becoming more fully yourself. More clarity, more of your energy available, more emotional range, more presence in your own life. Instead of parts of you living in the past, your awareness begins to gather in the present moment. And that is what many traditions mean when we speak about coming home to yourself. You feel more like yourself. Not the version shaped by survival, but the version shaped by integration. If something in this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your experience. Have you ever felt a moment where a lost part of you returned? Maybe through reflection, therapy, meditation, or simply time? Share in the comments, because these conversations help many people realize we are not alone in what they are experiencing. And sometimes the first step toward healing fragmentation is simply recognizing you were never broken, you were protecting yourself. And the journey of healing is the journey of returning. Awareness is often the first step in calling your energy back. Healing is not about forcing transformation. It is about remembering, about allowing the scattered parts of your experience to return home. And that process always begins in the same place. Presence, here, now. If something in this conversation felt familiar or touched a place that's been quietly carrying too much, that's often where real integration begins. If you are ready to move from understanding into experience, my deeper offerings are available on my website, created to support steady, structured inner work. I especially recommend beginning with a Return to Wholeness bundle. It's geared toward healing fragmentation across time and restoring inner harmony when something inside feels divided or inherited. If this resonated, that may be your next step. Whenever you feel ready, the links are in the description.